And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for our commentary. We're doing Megaman on the NES. My pattern... Yeah, woo. Introduce yourself, gentlemen.
I'm Nem. You might know me, you might not, I don't know. Probably not.
We're not exactly famous.
No, not in the slightest.
Anyway, I'm handling the recording duties. Well, Mega Man's kind of popular, at least in retro circles, so why not? Anyway, my path for this game is slightly outside the norm. Most people start either Bomb Man or Guts Man. I've chosen Flame Man because his weapon's actually good. Like, really, really good. But you'll only see a chance to in most playthroughs because the Elect Beam kind of overshadows it.
Yeah, that is true. I've never really thought about this fireman's weapon before.
I did a few ones where I just tried different starting points, and the conclusion I came to is like, wow, the flame's actually really powerful. But there's no point once you have the Lekman's weapon, unless you're just trying to say...
Which is practically the Metal Blades of this game.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
This section's kind of tricky, because, you know, Mech is a bitch. Especially with instant death pits.
Yep.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of Mega Man, what's your guys' experience with the franchise? In general, but classic and wise?
I play them on and off. Mostly 2 and X1. For me.
I go to them, like, every other year. My first Mega Man game was Mega Man 2. And...
you and, like, a million other people?
Yeah. And my second Mega Man game was X1. So... no surprise there, but...
Okay.
My favorites are actually 3 and... I don't really have a favorite from the X series, come to think of it.
Well, it's probably... my favorite 3, 7, and 2 in the classics. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion, because 7's becoming more respected as time goes on. I've started to notice.
Yeah, so really 7 is a lot better of a game than a lot of people give it credit for.
But I mean, back in the 90s, it was reviled. And I loved it. Like, I think 3's...
Why?
Big sprites!
Oh my god! Cry me a river. I don't think the game suffered from screen crunch or anything.
Some are entries.
And Mega Man's dumb line at the end of 7, it's just like, it's a stupid line. It doesn't kill the game. Anyway.
I mean, does X whining about not wanting to fight kill every Mega Man X game?
Not really.
Exactly. Also, you are going really recklessly against that boss.
Dodging Fireman's impossible unless you're some kind of ridiculous savant. I mean, I've seen it, but I could not replicate it, so I just, I took the pariah victory. Because I'll kill him faster than he'll kill me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And it's still, the second best weapon in the game. If someone's new to the game, I wouldn't necessarily recommend Fireman first.
Probably just because of that boss, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you can do it, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. That was my first year.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much of this game, but I do remember that Bomb Man and Guts Man are the easiest ones.
Yeah, that's generally why they came first. And for someone new to the game, that's a perfectly fine line, but... because it makes certain annoying sections easier, like this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyway, my history with the Mega Man franchise, I was a Sega kid. I didn't own a Nintendo back in the day. So, my first experience to, a lot of Nintendo franchises was emulation, that dirty, awful word that some people cringe at, but...
Well, that seems to be your introduction to a lot of things, even lately.
Well, on the Nintendo, a lot of Sega stuff I basically had, but
I was a Nintendo kid, so I was playing the likes of Mega Man 2 back when I was 3. Not that I was any good at the game at that age, of course, but
well, it's I grew up with Sonic and some other Sega stuff.
Make sure.
To be honest, it was probably a good 10 years before I actually finished Mega Man 2 on my own.
I mean, it's especially for a young, be an easy game. I think it's not that hard nowadays, but I also have a position of having lots of experience with it.
This is true.
Yeah.
Basically the same reason I find Zelda 1 to be a relatively easy game.
You're a dirty, horrible liar, and I hope
I need to give Zelda 1 another try at some point.
For those not in the know, I despise Zelda 1. That game. No, really. Just fuck it.
And those, I think it's Shieldjos that are the name of the enemy. They annoy me.
Yeah, they're probably the most annoying, one of the most annoying Mega Man enemies in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as bad as how do you pronounce it, the Blue Bean boss, too?
Oh,
yeah.
The Blue Bean Trap, or whatever you call it.
The thing you have to use the crash bombs on. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and you have just enough crash bombs to deal with it.
I love Mega Man 2, but I really don't think that castle is very well designed in general.
Yeah.
That
probably a subject for another commentary, though.
Well, probably when we get to Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I'm gonna handle, I'm not gonna go, 1 through all Mega Man games.
You're gonna go in whatever order you freaking want.
Well, it's I figure I'm handling recording news for both Classic and X. I'll do the first 3 Classics, then do the first 3 X games.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're kind of their own era, and so are the first 3 X games.
In both series case, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though 4, 5, and 6 are still NES games, they feel quite different from the first 3.
Yeah, it's...
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
I mean...
the guts lifts.
I don't necessarily want them cash-in games, but 4 and 5 in particular can really feel like that.
5 especially, I think.
I just... issue with 4 is the spikes everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 4 seems like it was rushed, but it does seem like they put at least some effort into it, but 5, I don't even feel that way.
There's probably more effort put into 4 than 5, but 5 just... 4's structure annoys me more than 5's.
Well, yeah, 5's structure is less offensive, but it's more boring.
Yeah. So it's do you want a frustrating game or a boring game? That's really your conundrum with 5.
And I can't really argue with that.
Yeah, but it's 6 is a lot better than both of them.
6 is probably the easiest of the classic Mega Man games.
Oh boy, big eye.
But everyone forgets 8 exists.
Well, in my case, I haven't played 8 for several years.
I'm not going to go back to 8
yet.
And I never actually finished it either.
Well, the last time I played 8 was years ago, but I did it on the Saturn since I own a Saturn now, and I can do that.
Lucky you.
Well, it's a couple extra stages. That's it.
I think it was a couple extra bosses or something like that.
Yeah. Again, it's been forever since I played 8. My opinion of 8 is that it's a perfectly fine game. It's just kind of boring.
So it's 5?
I think it's better than 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
8 feels effort put into it. There's definitely heart in it, but it's still kind of just dull.
Speaking of what's going on the screen, the bomb weapon seems really unwieldy.
Yeah,
it is.
It's not worth using in most cases. I don't bother.
Yeah.
It's it's usually Flame Man, Elect Man, and then your Mega Buster, and that's it.
Yep.
Maybe the occasional Iceman for something.
Or if you're grabbing an item out of
just very rarely.
Yeah. If you're grabbing an item out of range, Cutman, if I recall.
Does Cutman's weapon do that?
Cutman's weapon is useful for the things that move on the ground. I don't recall what their name is.
I never remember their name.
I can never remember the names of half the enemies in these games.
It's like... I grew up, born and raised on Sonic, and even I don't remember the names of enemies in the Sonic game. Much less Mega Man.
Yeah.
Gutsman stage is probably one of the more annoying ones of me, because I still take a while to get used to the Guts splits.
Yeah, those platforms... They kind of blindside you the first time you go into the stage.
Oh, yeah. Awful the first time. I've gotten used to them, but...
Yeah, exactly.
I give Mega Man 1 slack because it was like...
It's the first entry in this series. They gotta figure it out at some point.
Yeah. That's mostly the hard
the
part.
fact that it was as good as it is surprising anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
just
like...
because of the general quality of that era.
Yeah, it's
People bitch about shovelware these days, but... It was just as bad back then.
Yeah,
it was just less prevalently advertised.
This is true.
At Mega Man 1. Like Mario 1, maybe Mario 2, Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, we didn't really have internet back then either.
No.
Well, I think it might have existed. It doesn't have commercial access to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know the history of the internet all too well.
Yeah.
But it certainly wasn't public if it did exist.
Yeah, I feel like the NES didn't really start improving in terms of like average per game until like 89. It's definitely when it seemed... Well, when it comes to a lot of my favorite NES games, they seem to go from that year.
I would probably peg it a little bit earlier than that, especially if we're talking about Japanese games and you're going off US release dates. But, you're right about there being something of a renaissance within the NES.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the first few years of it are just atrocious. If you want to play something really other than Mario or Zelda.
I mean, just speaking of Zelda, just think about the difference technologically that you would have to get from Zelda 1 to Zelda 2. And they did that on the same platform.
Yeah.
That was actually controversial opinion coming. I think Zelda 2 is better than...
I know you do.
But they don't know that. All three of them.
but yeah.
Which is, I guess, why I'm gonna do Zelda 2. Whenever you get around to...
Whenever I get around to editing the videos I recorded, like, 10 months ago.
I'll edit them for you if you want me to.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 years later.
But this is like, easiest one.
Oh, yeah.
The Buster only, in my opinion.
Cut weapon on these. Because other Mega Buster only stuns them.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Cutman was the first Robot Master I defeated in this game.
I think it's the same for me, too.
Cutman's...
I remember attempting Gutsman first, but those lifts just kind of scared me off the first time.
Although, the one thing I'm not a fan of, in both the stages, Big Eye.
Yeah. With regard to this level,
that it's basically stealing the Journey song?
Yeah. But, like, especially early in the stage, there's a whole bunch of jumps, like, even right on that first screen, where you have to be, like, perfect, or you have to go all the way up to max height just to make the slightest jump, and it just seems very awkward.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, this is like, what, 1987?
Yeah. especially
comparing Mega Man 1 to the standards of its time.
Yeah, but like even like when you think about, okay, this is the first game in the series, people aren't going to necessarily know what the limits of the character are. No.
Yeah.
So it makes that sort of very precision like design a hard sell.
Well, yeah, that's probably why
you can do that with a more established series, but mostly only to the people who played the previous entries and know what they're capable of. And like, I think that's something you really should see more in Mega Man than you really do.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, Mega Man series is not actually conservative. To a fault.
Yes.
And hello, Magnet Beam.
And it's like,
yes,
yeah, I got the
yes,
Magnet
we now
Beam.
have the Magnet Beam, the one non-boss item in this game. Also required to complete the game, so don't miss it.
Yeah. Also, it's the glitchiest weapon in the game. Because
Isn't it like one of the glitchiest weapons in the series?
yeah,
yeah.
if you watch in the run, they'll just like use it to glitch through a door and then just do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I've tried replicating those. I can't do it. It's harder than it looks.
That's the case with a lot of speedrun stuff. like even the speedrunners will tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why do you think most speedrun attempts end in failure?
Well, yeah.
And again,
They end in failure because you need freaking practice to pull that off. So, you have to have a certain number of failures before you can have a success.
practice makes perfect, and even then, with some even practice can still get you screwed over.
Yeah, that is true, but that's true of everything.
Yep.
Also, this is the only Mega Man game that has, like, platforming challenges or enemies in between the doors on the way to the boss. Which is really awkward. It's really awkward when you play the previous games and then come back to this one.
And I have him locked in a loop.
Yay! I love these things. It's funny.
I mean, it'd be faster to kill him with the cut span, but this is funnier.
Rolling car, yeah.
You can't do anything about it. I found this one day, and I've always exploited it ever since.
So, wait, okay, what's Electman's weakness again?
Rolling car.
Okay, it's Cutman's weapon. I was kind of wondering about that, because I see the Gutsman blocks in the corner there that you can...
Yeah, that's just kind of random. I mean,
Yeah,
it
it
will him, but it won't kill him. Like, because I think 3 hits with the water kills him.
Damn!
Something like
Okay.
that.
But yeah, it's sure, but it's so much funnier to demonstrate with a Mega Buster.
Yeah.
Yep. And you have just enough jump height to get over the elect beam.
Oh yeah, it's harder than you think it is, so you have to be careful.
Yeah, it's a fairly
Yeah.
wide hitbox.
Although it pretty much busts the game in half once you get it.
Mhm.
But that's why the weapon is so powerful. Also, it's a lag
Yep.
fest.
It is.
So I hope you don't mind the game not running at full speed, because I think this is what it's going to be like for the rest of the playthrough.
More than likely.
Yep, I mean, it's the optimal way. I mean, get an elect beam and just murder everything. I mean, to be honest, most Mega Man games ain't that great on weapon balance.
Oh god, no.
No way, no.
I'm trying to think what might be the best, and I'm honestly leaning towards 3, even though that has the top spin, which is only useful in the Wily Wars version.
It's really good in the Wily Wars version.
It's
'cause they fixed
broken
it.
as balls in the Wily Wars.
I mean, it's just so satisfying playing through it, murdering everything with the top spin.
Yeah, that's why I love Mega Man 3 on Wily Wars.
Yeah, I'm
Also because I like a whole bunch of the remixes of the tracks in that version.
But those remixes by the Megaman community.
Yeah, they can suck my dick.
Well, Wily Wars is kind of hated among a lot of the fans I've noticed.
I don't really see reason for hate. I mean, they're not amazing ports.
Well, 1 and 2, I will say Mega Man 1 and 2 and Wily Wars are pretty bad ports. 3 is an amazing port.
Yeah, that kind of was... That was kind of my impression. I wasn't terribly impressed by 2 especially. Although I can't quite remember why. It was a long time ago, but
I mean, I like a lot of the
I think
remixes.
my first playthrough of 3 on Wily Wars was like the most fun playthrough of that game I've ever had, which is saying something. Also,
3, I'm gonna be controversial. Yeah, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah, I don't like... I tried that platforming section legit once, and yeah, I just went, fuck it, I'm using the magnet beam.
I mean, that's the thing with a lot of platforming sections in these games. You get some movement power to just skip it anyway. Whether it's the rush jet or one of the items or that. What was it in Mega Man 6? The super armor?
I don't remember what it's called, but
I think it was.
The one that lets you fly for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about.
It made a return in 7.
Yeah, I might be thinking of the 7 version. Because
I think it was one of the rush adapters. I remember that.
Right, yes.
I think it might have been Jet.
And now time for the most annoying sound in the world.
I love how none of us talked over that.
Well, of course, they have to... Their ears being, like, badly damaged.
Yep.
Okay, it is the world's worst sound known to man, but Jesus Christ, it's not that bad. I don't know, maybe I'm just tempered to it.
I'm used to it, but it's an awful sound.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I think if it... what was it? I think Mega Man Powered Up bounced off the weapons out a bit. The PSP remake.
I have not played that.
I played a little bit, and I noticed that some of the damage constants were reduced a little. But they also changed over the weakness table a bit for...
because they added 2 more bosses.
Yep, Time Man and Oil Man.
I played a bit of Powered Up. I liked what I saw, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to Wily Wars, I consider the Wily Wars version of 3 to be a definitive version of 3. I know I'm going to get murdered for that, but it's really good.
I would agree with you.
and Wily Wars never gets re-released, which is a crying shame.
Yes.
And the Wily Tower is also fantastic. I mean, the ports of 1 and 2 are bad. I will concede that to the other people in the Mega Man fan base.
Yeah, I like I said before, I remember being not impressed by them, but I don't remember why exactly. Like
1 and 2 have a lot more slow than the originals do, which on the Genesis is kind of inexcusable.
That's impressive.
Well, especially.
But I think actually, yeah, you're right. I think that is true. Now that I think about it. Also, this is why you need the magnet beam in order to finish the game. This one room right here.
If you have a magnet beam, you can just fall down that pit and kill yourself.
Yep, because that's the only solution the developers could think of.
Yep.
Well, otherwise,
I'm sure there was some revision of the game where that pit was not there.
Oh boy, it's everyone's favorite boss.
That you're not going to fight legitimately, because who does that?
I actually do legitimately. I'm going to use this as a weakness to speed it up, but I'm not using the select trick.
Okay.
Because I don't think this guy's really that hard.
I mean, I don't know if it was just a slowdown, but this guy seemed like he got nerfed in Wily Wars.
Oh yeah, it's slowdown. There's a ton of slowdown in that fight. Which is amazing that they have the slowdown on the Genesis, because the Genesis processor is a million times faster than the NES is.
Yeah. Go programming optimization.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
it's a
what
bad
like.
part.
hmm
But yeah, it's a shame that Wily Wars will probably never get a re-release.
Yeah.
I think most of the people that actually have trouble are people who try to do Buster only because of doing the same pattern over and over.
I can't imagine using Buster only just because it would take forever.
Well, it's like, I have done that to this before, but that's purely a challenge, and I decided, well, that would take too long, so I'll use this weakness.
Mega Man, are you okay?
I think he's busted through.
He's partying because the hardest boss in the game just went down.
I think the final boss is harder, actually.
I don't remember what the final boss of this game is.
It's one of
I don't
Wily's
really remember
machines.
either.
No kidding.
Well,
Just basically the same as any other Mega Man game.
well,
Oh, yeah,
at least
there's
it's
an
not.
invisible pit there.
It's not Wily Capsule 7.
That is a kind of interesting sort of fight. I don't really know how to best to describe that.
I like the fight a lot, but it is really hard.
I won't deny that. That is a very yeah. It's a great fight, but
Well, it's like
you will die to it a couple times at least, even if you are really good at it.
The trick is realizing that the energy ball is home.
I mean, that sounds like it would be obvious.
It's not.
But then again,
terribly obvious at first because of their speed, because they are really fast.
that is true.
Because it can just give them. Sometimes that's just how they're aiming it, but no, they home in on you.
Yeah, no, I could tell pretty quickly that they were homing.
A rolling
So I
card
guess that's why I
on
didn't have
the
as much
rollback.
trouble as some people did. Also, hi, Elecman.
Yeah, and
Welcome to the boss rush.
a feature that is not only in every Mega Man game, ever, pretty much every Capcom game.
Yep.
Oh, Carney! Sorry, I had an ugly.
and that's a game where one of the bosses in that boss rush, you had to fight it for the second time previously in the game already.
Yeah, I mean, Okami was a good
Also,
game, but
some of the bosses that they chose for that boss rush were just seemed kind of weird to me.
mhm.
Yep. And again, Capcom seem to love rule of three somewhat.
It was 4 bosses there, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought
Although
the-
you had to fight one of them 3 times. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, boss rushes are a thing. Like,
Yeah, and they're not.
Devil
really
May Cry
like-
has them.
Yep.
I haven't even played the Devil May Cry games yet. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to that. It's like, I really like Mega Man, but that's the thing with Mega games I don't like is the boss rush.
Actually, did Devil May Cry 1 have one?
I don't
I know
remember.
I know, like, there's 3 separate fights with each boss, but I don't remember if there's another refight at the very end of the game. I don't think there is, actually.
Yeah, and just so we're clear on this, when I do all the Mega Man, rest of the classic Mega Mans and the X, I'm cutting out the boss rushes, just straight up.
That's fine. It's not like there's really anything interesting to see there.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Nobody
Much
needs to see Metal Man getting wrecked by the metal blades.
Yeah.
It's not as interesting as you think.
Yeah. Well, there's always one person in the comments that wishes they could see literally everything.
I
Like,
will
don't
never
believe in
understand
yourself,
those people. Like, what the hell are you doing with your time? I don't have a job and I don't have time for all these LPs. Please please, LPers, get to the point. That is my one request. As someone with theoretically infinite free time currently.
I love this track. It's kind of underrated because when it comes to Mega Man Castle music, people always talk Wily Castle. The first
Wily.
Castle theme.
Stage 1 in Mega Man 2, yeah.
Yeah.
It got a really nice tempo. It builds and builds. It really holds kind of tension. Anyway, this thing goes automatically.
Because you're getting pushed by the water.
Yep.
It doesn't even
I know
look
that
like
might
water.
not be obvious because of the primitive NES graphics, but yeah, you're getting pushed by water. Also, this level is otherwise completely unmemorable, besides the music.
Yeah.
Yep.
This thing. I prefer to actually start damaging it with the Mega Buster first, and then use his weakness.
And save the guts blocks for later.
Yeah.
Yeah. CO something something something. That's
It makes sense.
yeah.
Because, unlike every other weapon, there's a hard limit on the number of guts blocks that you get in any given fight.
Which is stupid.
Yes, which is why they never had a weapon like this again.
Well, except for the Wily Tower.
If I recall,
yes. But you don't have to take the guts arm.
Slot. For the uninitiated in the Wily Tower and the Wily Wars, you can do any weapon from the first 3 Mega Man games.
Yeah, any 8 weapons and it's 3 other items, right? So
Yeah.
So
Like
3
Magnet
of
Beam,
either the
Rush
Magnet
Jet.
Beam, the 3 items from Mega Man 2, or the 3 rush modes in 3.
Yeah, so you're basically taking Magnet Beam and the rush modes in 3.
Coil and Jet specifically.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's... Well, there might be a use for Rush Marine, but let's face it, there is not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really isn't enough in any Mega Man game to justify Rush Marine's existence, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's there for the water parts in what is it, Gemini Man stage, and that's
Yeah, that...
And you don't even need Marine to complete that. You can do it.
Oh, of course not.
Without it. It's a lot harder, but you can do it.
I think that was actually how I did Gemini Man stage in 3.
Oh.
I think the first time I did it, I used the controller 2 trick.
Anyway, that weird shuriken thing apparently is supposed to come from some other arcade game Capcom made.
I think it was called the Asochi or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but it just restores all your health and weaponition.
Oh, welcome back to the boss rush.
Yeah.
It's the only
And I
time
don't remember it making an appearance in another Mega Man game until much later.
I wasn't even aware it made another appearance.
I recall seeing it in a playthrough of number 1, but I could be misremembering.
This boss rush is at least kind of interesting because you do health management to a degree.
Yes, because you're going straight from boss to boss instead of having platforming sections in between.
Yeah, whereas in 2 through 10 and base, it's just you get a health.
You get put into a room full of capsules.
Yeah.
Fight the bosses in whatever order you want, provided you can, figure out which one's which.
Mega Man X would do a similar kind of boss rush to this one.
Oh, yes. Yes, X1 did this style.
Yeah. I did the first Zero game, but not the others. I didn't... 0-1 do it, I don't know if the others do, and I don't have much experience with Battle Network or Star Force.
The
Battle Network has you refight all the bosses throughout the final dungeon sequences.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what the other Zero games do because it's been far too long. And those games are hard.
They are friggin' hard.
I mean, I got the first Zero game, but maybe I'll get to Zero 2 eventually.
Yeah.
And this is the final boss. This part is pretty simple. Just use fire weapon, and it will be cut down to size really fast.
It just melted, practically.
The Yoshichi, that's the actual name of it, didn't reappear until Mega Man 8, and it's a random recovery item given by Rush Charger.
Oh, okay.
Never used Rush Charger much in that game, but...
And that's really about it.
Illustrate how little I knew of Mega Man 8, I didn't even know that Rush Charger was a thing.
Well, it's like 8 is the most forgettable game in the classic series. I remember Mega Man and Bass more than 8. And
see, I don't even know anything about Mega Man and Bass besides the first level that I played on the GBA.
See, I remember Mega Man and Bass because for bad reasons, because it's really frustrating. I don't like it.
I hear a lot of horror stories about that game, either way.
Because fuck you, Burner Man. You can go to hell and you can die. And the game is with.
Yep.
So,
although there's still another God knows how many after this.
Well, it's not like Capcom's going to make any more.
At this point, it certainly seems like they won't.
Yep.
And it's like...
thanks to Mighty Number 9, surprised it took us this long to bring that up, even though we brought up every other game. I have my doubts that any other company will attempt it.
Yeah, well, there's been a ton of Mega Man games, so I'm not particularly bothered if there's never another one.
I mean, before people start bringing up Shovel Knight, yes, Shovel Knight does have some inspiration from Mega Man, but I feel like it has just as much from Castlevania.
Shovel Knight's an amalgam, however you pronounce that, of like a lot of different things.
Amalgam. I think
amalgam of kind of like Mario Brothers 3 in particular, Castlevania and Mega Man.
I'm not seeing Mario Brothers 3, honestly.
I'm going more with the overworld for Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah, okay. Okay, with that, yes, there is.
Yep.
Also, I think this is the only time in the NES games where we actually see Mega Man without his blue armor.
Simply Mega.
I think the intro of 4 you kind of do for a bit.
Yeah.
But that's just it.
Maybe.
Any final
Still,
thoughts?
I think this is the only time the sprite is used.
Well, we're running out of time fast.
Yeah.
I think this is an okay game. It's not my favorite in the series. It's probably
it definitely has its rough patches, which could be expected of a first entry.
Fine for its time, but we've done better. But that's all for now.
The immediate sequels just show how much could be done.
Anyway, off. Have a good day.
Yep, see it.